Thank you so much, Tiffany. I would like to introduce our second speaker, Gaston Mbonglou. He is our secondary cities local champion for Douala, Cameroon. He is an expert in business strategy, operations management, and IT. He's focused on flooding, waste management, and emergency preparedness. And if you need some excitement in your life, just go see Gaston because he will show you a magic trick. He often performs magic tricks at parties. So we'll have to see one later.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really want to thank Lee for the secondary city project, Melinda, and the university for all the support they have been providing for the last few years. I want to share some use cases with you about what we're doing in Douala, and I'm sure you're going to see some of the topics that you have been discussing, how you're trying to tackle them in Douala. But since Amanda told you about my trick, I like to tell stories. So before you guys leave, I want you to take something with you back home, something about Douala. So in Douala, when you say, how are you? You say, Imane. And how do you respond? Imabuam. So, Imane. Imane. Wonderful. So let's talk about Douala. So Douala was selected as one of the first city to do the secondary city project. We started in 2016. We are now in year 2. And what is very particular with Douala is a coastal city. And over the years, the sea level has been rising, and that's creating a lot of issues on 2 key aspects: flooding and waste management. Waste management is not done very well, and for obvious reason. Cities growing very fast, and there's not enough funding to make it happen. So the focus for Douala was really around, how do we improve the resiliency around those two topics? As Melinda mentioned earlier, we try to make sure that we work with all the key organizations to start thinking about having all the access required, but also how do you sustain the project over years. So we do work with the University of Douala. They do have a GIS department, and they have been providing students over years. So the first year we had around 40 students that got trained in GIS, and this year we have around 20 students. They do most of the data collection. The good news is because you have the same faculty, you can maintain the knowledge within the university as students graduate and leave the university. The second thing we did, we tried to make sure that the mayor of Douala is very deeply involved in what we're doing, working together with the U.S. Embassy to try to put some pressure. The good news is the general counsel for the U.S. is based in Douala. So we try to get them involved also with site visits and everything else, and that's very important. On the other side, we do work with the National Geographic Institute. They're the gatekeeper. So we want to make sure that we get all the access, talking again about open data and everything else. So what do we do in year 1? In year 1, we really spend our time mostly focusing on building the capacity, helping the university create some training programs so that the student can get up to speed and continue the program. And we collected some data across the entire city. That was the first time everybody was very excited. How do we get enough data for Douala? And one of the things that was very special is, if you look at the 2 pictures at the bottom, we collected data in a district where they never collected data before. It's an island. So you see people in a little boat braving the ocean, try to get there and collect the data. That was very, very exciting, but also scary for me because I was thinking, if something happens to those young people, what are we going to do? So as a result of year 1, we had around 9,000 data points that were collected across the entire city, and we have more, different categories of data. But that really raised 2 questions as we completed data year 1 and tried to go into year 2. This is very nice for us as scientists, as business people. But what does that mean for the citizen of Douala when there's flooding? I don't think that much. And the second question is, how do you sustain the process and the data collection and the data quality as you look at the end of probably the project? So that leads us to the year 2. This is year 2. This year we had flooding in Douala basically a month ago. As you can see, you get almost 1 to 2 feet of water in some area of the city, and very often people don't know where to go, because there's no real direction, there's no coordination in terms of flooding, and there's really limited education in terms of what do I do before, during, and after flooding. And that's extremely important because a lot of those people don't have a lot of goods. So whenever you have some flooding, they lose most of the things that they have. So how do you help people getting better prepared for flooding? And that led us to year 2. So working with the city of Douala, we said, let's try to be very focused. Going back to the discussion that Tiffany said, let's pick one area in Douala that's really prone to flooding. Let's improve the data collection. Let's improve the data quality. And let's see how we can build a foundation really for a digital city where you start providing some services based on the data that you're building. So something that CSU did this year that was very important to us was to define some of the data set and some of the attributes. And that was extremely important for 2 reasons. A, now you have consistency across the city, but B, you can also exchange data with the cities. So the third thing that we decided to do in Douala is let's build an application for the people so that the normal Joe on the street can be notified what to do before flooding, during flooding, and after flooding. And one of the trigger of that thinking is the project in the Ukraine. In the Ukraine, they created a software component, I think on year 1, on how to go to certain places. I think it was a proprietary solution. However, it triggers some thinking from our perspective. So, you know what, let's use Street Map and try to do the same thing with an open source software. So that's what I would like to share with you.
So just to clarify, it's the Kharkiv Secondary Cities Project partners in Ukraine that developed an app that shared with the rest of the Secondary Cities network.
Yeah. So this is still a better version, but this is really the portal that everybody will be using in Douala. It's very responsive. Most of the people don't have any PC, but they do have cell phones because everybody is using WhatsApp. So with the cell phone, they can go here and they can really look at, okay, what do I do, before the flood, during the flooding, and after the flooding? And that's very important to them because a lot of people don't have that basic education. And we're going to try to use a lot of pictures and illustration to make it simple for everybody who, people who don't really know how to use a computer, but have basic, 5-step, do this, do this, do this. The goal is to try to launch this within the next 2 to 3 months. The second thing that we also did is integrate OpenStreetMap into that application. I just want to show you two little features. So Tom, I might need you if I get stuck. Are you sure I got it? Yeah, I'm not a Mac user, so he was trying to explain to me how to scroll down here. Yeah. Yeah, let me go. I'll let you do that. I just want to scroll down. Let's scroll down. Keep scrolling down. In here. Keep going down, keep going down. Keep going down. What evacuation? Okay, just click there. I want to show you something very cool. When you have
Let me make
a
sure.
flood,
Let me make sure it's
yeah.
on the screen.
Okay. So what technology is building? The whole idea is whenever you have flooding, people don't know where to go. If you remember the first picture, so one of the things we want to do in Douala is show people the next evacuation route based on where you are. Can you go back to? So you can see some of the simulation. So basically, this shows you, depending on where you are, if you zoom in, you can see exactly what's the next place to go. We can just zoom into the picture. And this is extremely good for the people. The mayor saw this last week, and he said to us, Gaston, let's step back. So you can tell me what's happening where. A month ago, they started a trash collection process in Douala. Again, we're going back flood and trash because when you have flood, trash, waterborne diseases. They're trying to have trash collection points everywhere into the city. So you say that means if I have my trash collection point, I can know real time whether or not trash was collected by people sending me that information at the end of the day. Now we started thinking about how do we take the project to the next level. Okay? So let me go back to the presentation. Sorry, technology. I'm not a big Mac user, so. It's loading. It's loading. Okay, you guys have it. So these are some of the screenshots. One is the direction, as Melinda was saying. when you go to a country, how do I go from place A to B? You can do the same simulation with the application that we're putting together. But the thing that's really cool with the secondary city is we realize it could be the foundation for changing the way people consume data. We talked about the trash collection from the mayor. We are talking about urban planning. How can people use that information now to go to the next level? And he asked us a very sound question. He said, I like what you guys are doing. How are we going to make money? Because I don't have enough revenue to sustain the project. He said, I want you guys to start thinking about, is there some of the information that could be shared with the public for free? Is there some information that we can share for a certain cost? And by doing so, be able to sustain the model. And what Douala is doing right now, they're building their command center for the city so they can really have a better control of the entire city. And they would like to integrate this tool as part of the command center. The second thing that we did, talking with the mayor, we realized there are many different projects that are talking about resiliency in Douala. The World Bank is right in Douala right now talking about resiliency. France is in Douala talking about resiliency. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, they're also very interested about resiliency in the cities. So we are working with all those three agencies and basically saying, we are collecting data. That is what we all need at the end of the day. And more importantly, how do we present that information for the normal Joe so they can make decisions? How do you present that information, put that information into incubation center so young people can start creating applications like in Rwanda where they have their version of Uber on motorcycles? I mean, it is really interesting to see what you can enable as you engage those discussions. So we are extremely excited about what we're doing in Douala. I hope together today we'll find ways beyond what we're thinking about how to sustain this project and really give them the lift that they require in order to sustain themselves and really create some transformation in those countries. On that note, thank you.
I think we'll break for lunch now and
Can I say one thing?
questions.
I just want to say that the most important thing about sustaining projects like this is to have champions like Gaston. So the projects would not survive if we didn't have our champions in each of the cities. So keep that in mind as we have recommendations that it's really important to have a strong champion. So thank you very much. All right.
If you want to ask Tiffany or Gaston any questions, I encourage you to do that during lunch. And I think we can go ahead and break. We have a 30-minute lunch in the Lee Gathering Room over this